Can you tell I'm wearing concealer under my eyes? It's so bright. Fuck!
Don't forget to hit the notification bell for new videos.
Okay, I'm just gonna turn down these. Okay, no, too ugly.
A few minutes later.
You know what? I'm just gonna blind myself and we'll live with it. Hi sisters, and thank you for coming back to my channel. I have not figured out my James Charles impersonation yet. However, we will get there. We will do a parody, much like my one with Jeffree Star. And now back to business. My new Remorseful collection will be out at the end of the month. And with Nikki tutorials. The truth, the Wahrheit. It's all about the grunt with Nikki. I've had to try and alter the setup because I wanted my desk in front of me, so I apologise that you see my laptop on my bed and some plug sockets there. We live, and my hair is bouncy enough that it sort of blocks it out. James Charles, are you proud of me? Yes he is. Sisters doing it for themselves. Now, as many of you know who are big followers of my channel, one of my many millions of subscribers, you'll know that in the past I have done Jeffree Star videos and makeup inspired, or, you know, it had something to do with Jeffree Star. And maybe that's not a good idea because of Jeffree's questionable attitude, behaviour, etc. blah 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 racism. So, I do have Jeffree Star's blue blood and blood sugar, diabetes. But today, I can't, what? It's just the grunt. It's just, I've literally just been watching a Nikki tutorial video and can't. Today, it came. Now look, okay, fine, I'm completely aware that I'm late to the party, okay? This came out like ages ago, blah, 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 blah. However, I wanted something new because all I've got is my Jeffree Star. He's controversial, and I kind of was not sure about getting this. But to be honest, I actually have to say, okay, right, we're gonna talk about Jeffree for a second. I am not a huge makeup person, but his makeup, say what you want about the person, his makeup is a good product. You have to admire the fact that there is effort gone into it. And I kind of was skeptical about buying James Charles one because if I'm going to invest money in something that, like, I don't really wear wet makeup outside. Like, this is more just for my YouTube videos. But upon receiving this, I was actually kind of shocked. Like, I appreciate the look of it, the feel of it. My fingerprints are going to get all over it now. Look at that. Disgusting OCD. But yeah, you've got to admire, like, this is actually seems pretty decent quality. And it's big. Like, it has a lot of colours in there, and it was cheaper. I use code JAMES for 10% off my purchase. Thank you, James. Okay, I'm just gonna... Magnet, clearly. Ooh, okay, cool. So, it has the shade names. I mean, any of you who are watching this who are James Charles fans, you probably have this or you know what it looks like. So, I'm not exactly going to go into detail about that. I like that there's a good variety of colours. I appreciate that. A lot of people tell me this is a really good quality palette, so that's good. Hey, look, I used code JAMES for 10% off to get the palette. Irony. No. Serendipity. No, that doesn't know. English, Matthew. English. You're English. You should know what words mean. So for today's video, I just thought it would be interesting because I've used mostly Jeffree's and because I have a newfound respect for James Charles. Not just because the quality of the palette is actually pretty decent than what I thought it would be. I honestly thought it would just be like some cheap cardboard, but you know, at least it's well designed. Cheap cardboard. No, but you know, we'll see. I thought it would be interesting just to sort of compare their two products because honestly, I would much rather support someone who lawyered the shit out of all the exposing he had done to him.
He told me straight up that he was bisexual.
Oh my god,
like, for real, like, I want him to represent me in my future murder trial. No, I won't commit murder. Murder this pussy! Because I'm straight. Yeah. So I'm just gonna compare very quickly and review both. Fair. Ooh. So as you can see, I have not touched this beforehand, so I am very interested because these look a lot creamier, like probably cream based. Oh, wait, fuck, what are they? See, I can't, okay, one critique, just one thing, but hey, for a future one, future palette, James, I got you. Okay, so to begin with, I'm just gonna compare how the two whites of each palette swatch. So in James, it's Flashback, and Jeffree has Glucose, which I have used quite a bit, and it takes a lot of it before I actually see any white on my eyes, and sometimes it's really good to get that defining sort of look in an eye, if you know what I mean. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so on my finger it's pretty good. Okay, so I've swatched both. The one that comes up the most here is James's one. Next to it, they're very faded, is Glucose. To be fair, these are white, and you're basically putting white on white. Like, I'm pale as fuck. It takes an effort to tan me. So far, James seems to be winning in terms of the race of the whites. I think Jeffree would have an issue with that. Thoughts? Apparently purples are very difficult to make. James's palette has like, I think 4 purples. What do you think? Do you think, would these all classify it as 4 purples or maybe slightly more pink and pink and pink? Purple, 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 maybe? I don't know. Who cares? Makeup lovers do that, so who cares, Matthew? So I'm gonna compare Jeffree Star's root canal to James Charles. Shade names again, hang on, let me overlay the shade names again. The shade name I was gonna swatch is called Single, and I'm done with this palette. No, okay. I had like heart to heart with my friend earlier. I am in a very weird place when it comes to relationships right now. I kind of feel like with Corona, it's just not a good idea. But of course, you know what? This is a whole other video. Let's ignore it. Let's continue. Let's get over my insecurities and continue. Ladies, you know, fuck it. Men as well. I'm single. Everyone. Asexual, bisexual, transsexual, everyone. Come to the original hue. I'm lonely. So I'm gonna go in with Single. Try not to cry. I have to say, it feels kind of weird. When I dip into the palette, they look as if they're much more like creamy. Like as if like the actual base is like an oily cream in comparison to Jeffree's, which do look more powdery. Because I've heard like people like Nikki be like, oh, it's like butter. I wouldn't say these feel like, I don't know. I don't see, I'm not that up on makeup. I may come off gay, but I'm very butch and straight. Yeah. I will swatch Single. I can't do swatches apparently. And root canal. I feel like my knuckle just ruined that. Okay, so it's fairly even in terms of, you know, they both show up. They're both pretty decent, yeah, okay. You know what, I think I will eventually do a part 2 of this video where I do one eye James, one eye Jeffree. That is actually a good idea. I should write that down. 1 second. And done. I've got makeup on my keyboard. Life! I actually quite like the look of some of the glittery ones in here. How would you say that? Shimmery, glittery shades, however the professional term is. Shiny shades. I don't know. They look quite appealing. And like the like shiny particles of it look much more smaller, which gives more shine compared to Jeffree's. For example, Jeffree's color Donor, it like sort of crumbles out the pan. I'm not gonna lie. But I like the color though, so you know. I am gonna take shade from James's Ring Light Appropriate, because right now I'm being blinded by mine. Hang on. I wore a jumper to look professional, and I just did it on a hairy arm. Take 2. Ring Light shines in Ring Light. Jeffree doesn't have a really very similar color, so fuck it. I'll just compare it to the pink shiny candy floss. Why not? For fun. These actually kind of blend quite well. It's kind of giving me like a marshmallow eye. Marshmallow eye. I love marshmallows. Okay, I only wanted this to be a relatively quick review. I have not dipped into every single shade on James's palette, but to be honest, I've had Jeffree's one for a while and I still have not done it on that palette. Like, I've used most, but I mean, look at Prick. Look at it. Barely even touched. Cake Mix, Cavity, Coma, Extraction. Yeah, I barely use them. So, sisters. Final thoughts. I appreciate the price point of James's palette, especially with the offer for 10% off. That was really appealing. I appreciate that there's a wide variety of color. However, one critique I would give to the colors is I kind of feel like they could pop more. Does that make sense? So for example, the orange up here, I kind of feel like it's a very muted orange, like it's a very sort of muted tone. I feel like it should like pop. And I'll be honest, I wanted to buy this, but I also wanted to buy Jeffree Star's Jawbreaker because I appreciate that the color variety in there is very pop. You know what I mean? But you could use the same argument against this palette. I mean, this is Blood Sugar, so it's red, and yet how many reds are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say there's only actually like 5 reds in here, and then there's just like pinky purples and then muted. So, but this also has a theme, whereas James's doesn't, which, you know, so there's plus and minus points on there both ways. Quality of product, Jeffree is kind of known for sort of quality in terms of boxes. When I first opened this, it smelled like sugar. It still does. Like a really like chemically synthesized artificial sugar, but damn, it doesn't not make me feel good. And then we go to James's palette. Let's sniff. It obviously has a smell, but it's nothing that's like chemically overpowering or anything like that. To be honest, I think I smell the cardboard, like the actual box of the palette more than anything else. So I kind of appreciate that Jeffree, unless it was unintentional, maybe Jeffree like spilt sugar on this by accident because he eats a lot. I don't know. But I appreciate that if all his palettes have like that sweetness to it, then props. Quality of product. I'm gonna swatch a couple more Jameses and I'll get back to you.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so I got the camera and I've just been swatching some of James's. The shade name Cape Cod. Okay, so I swatched that twice and I did it once and I was like, huh? Look at it. Look at it. That one. Okay, in the light, it looks like sort of a bright, maybe not quite emerald, but it's not sort of, it's like emerald with bluey hints to it, you know? Muted bluey hints. But then when I got my shade name thing and I saw the shade was titled Cape Cod, suddenly it just kind of gives me like a dirty, sewery, Cape Coddy water. As a colour, it's rich in terms of its colour. It's just very sewer on my skin. Having a shade name called Cape Cod, now if that means something to James, then I understand the meaning behind it. I do, however, not know if that is anything meaningful to James. Maybe he's from Cape Cod. I'm pretty sure he isn't. Choice for a name. I would have given it something different. Like, if you're just gonna, why not just call it sewer water? Why not? Like, it's a good quality, don't get me wrong, in terms of the quality of the product, and I'm sure it will look good in some eye looks, but James, come on, we've got to work on these names. Quality, both palettes have it. The people involved in these palettes, however, one is maybe more questionable, one is less questionable. One also stuck up for himself and managed to prove his innocence, which commands a lot of respect for me. And I obviously for a lot of his fans, because his subscribers went way up. And this was a year ago, so I'm not trying to rehash that or anything. I'm just saying, just making a point. Jeez, calm down. He honestly should have had a shade called Lloyd though, but I don't know if this came out before or after the drama. I feel like it came out after maybe? I don't know. My final thoughts lean towards James's. I feel like if you're gonna buy any new makeup, this has a great color variety. The quality is really good. I like the sleekness of the palette. I think it is very well done and designed. It doesn't have a mirror, unless you use this as a fucking mirror. I kind of like that there is this touch of the message on the inside, like in Unleash Your Inner Artist. That is just like a small touch, but to me, like when I opened the palette, I was like, oh, okay. And I'm fine not having a mirror because like I've got mirrors, like I'm vain. Of course I have mirrors. Anyone who's watching this video who plays with makeup, you have a mirror. You don't need one in a palette. Like, come on, save the world some glass. So I would definitely recommend buying James Charles if you're looking to buy a palette. You can get 10% off as well. And with that, take care, guys. See you later. Bye. So, guys, it was almost empty, so it's fine. Grape soda. Not sponsored.